Hey there, folks, and welcome to the show. Now, as you may or may not be aware, a while back my buddies and I decided to remake some classic Twilight Zone episodes, and recently I dropped a Nervous Man in a $4 room, and I'm pretty proud of that one. And today we have another banger for you. It's called the Jeopardy room, and it was directed by my good pal and YouTube sensation Eddie Spaghetti. So before we get into it, make sure you all hit that like, hit the subscribe, and let's take a stroll into the Twilight Zone.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. Moving through a land of shadow and substance. Of things and ideas. We just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Yes?
Is this Major Kuchenko?
Who is calling?
Well, this is Major Kuchenko, isn't it?
Who is calling?
Major, you don't know me, but I've heard of your recent arrival here, and I wanted you to know you had friends.
And who is this speaking to me? Is this a friend also?
Yes, a good friend, Major. Not known to you yet, perhaps, but soon to become acquainted. May I impose upon you to stay in your room?
Why? Why must I remain in my room?
We'll be making contact with you very soon, Major. Your well-being is of our deep concern.
Now, Commissar?
Major, may I count on you to use good sense? Please, for your own safety, remain in your room. You'll be seeing your friends very soon. Goodbye.
Now, Commissar?
The fox is in the trap.
I can make his head leave his body from this distance.
That would give you pleasure, wouldn't it?
Yes, a great deal of pleasure. Even when he lays down, I can still aim for his head.
Yes, I know of your prowess, Todd. Oh, put that gun away for a bit.
Put it away?
Oh, lie it aside.
What? Are we not gonna kill him?
The impatience of the bourgeois. They do not sip at the rare Pepsi. They try and gulp it down like a wine. They do not caress a beautiful woman. They devour her. They do not sniff at the essence of a rare perfume. No, they try and jam it into their nostrils. Todd, the man will die tonight. Indeed he will. But I want him to die with subtlety, finesse, and a degree of thought. That is a good death.
I didn't know there was a good death or a bad death.
Uh-huh. A good death is a death of art. The bad one, the death of a butcher. You, Todd, are butcher. I am the artist. You will have your death tonight, Todd, within a few hours, but we will have killed with artistry, and not with a meat cleaver or a remote mine or any other of the butcher's tools. No, no, this death will be like a ballet.
The cast of characters, a cat and a mouse. This is the latter, who may or may not know that he is to die, be it by butchery or ballet.
His name is Ivan Kuchenko. He had his events go according to certain plans, perhaps 3 or 4 more hours of living. But ignorance shared by both himself and his executioner is, of the fact that both of them have taken their first step into the Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone was brought to you tonight by Kleenex Tissues.
The only tissue that gives you so much. The soft, strong tissue with the Kleenex touch.
The Twilight Zone, brought to you tonight by the coffee with the best of the coffee bean. Aroma, flavor, but not caffeine. New Aroma Roast Sanka Coffee.
Yes?
Major Kuchenko?
Who is this?
A friend. You can turn off the lights and find a hiding place if you want.
I come out with my arms up and my palms are open. Major Kurchenko?
And you are?
A friend. May I come in? Thank you.
You're the man I was speaking to on the telephone.
Yes, we had a brief chat earlier. Interesting place you have here. Who occupied it before you? Rats?
I have no luxury of choices.
Indeed you do not. In that respect, you are a very poor man, Major. But then again, you have a bed, poster of Greg Kinnear on the wall, carpet, such as it is. Yes, it's quite an adequate accommodation. And the most wonderful view of a brick building alongside. Yes, I can think of far worse places to spend an evening.
I know. I have been to many of them.
Yes, indeed you have. Siberia is quite cold, isn't it? I've been told it has a most unfortunate climate.
You have been told right. It is a freezing jungle.
Freezing jungle. Marvelous. Lovely imagery. Siberia is a freezing jungle. Make reference, of course, to its people?
I make reference to some people.
Must have been quite unpleasant for you. Sufficiently unpleasant to make you renounce your native country and seek asylum elsewhere. Which brings us up to date. You were a political prisoner, took him 12 years, escaped, now you're right here, in this neutral country, and are desperately trying to seek an aircraft to take you to a Western nation. Yet you fear you're under surveillance?
I know I am under surveillance.
Do you know by who?
Very well.
Well, then tell me, who are they?
Look in the mirror, Commissar.
Discerning, Major. You remember faces.
I remember pain. I remember some interrogations that went on for many months. I remember one man in particular who smoked a cigarette, who stood in the corner laughing and nodding as I went through agony to agony.
Oh, Major. Were we dispensed with the masquerades? The little give and take between two strangers filling each other out? Now we get to the point. Did you honestly think we would permit you to book passage on an aircraft out of here? Fucking impossible! As a former member of the military, even as far back as 12 years ago, you possess information that we would find embarrassing if it were released elsewhere. So it wouldn't be to our advantage if you were to leave here. Of course, it would be simpler and more convenient for you to accompany me back to our embassy.
I am sick, tired and torn, Commissar, but I'm not insane. I would rather slit my wrist over a sink and bleed to death.
No, Major. I'm afraid we have two minds about that kind of death. Gently, gently now. I brought some Pepsi. It's quite rare and pleasing to the palate.
I am afraid I must repeat what I said before, Commissar. I am not insane. I am quite aware of what would happen to me if I were to drink any of that.
With your indulgence, Major, if you think this contains cyanide or some other poison, you're quite wrong. You see, I do not share your death wish. No, I'm quite a healthy man with excellent expectations as to my longevity. No, I was just proposing a social Pepsi between the two of us. I will drink first.
Such a ritual. Such a tribe, all right. Commissar, you have only one purpose with me. Why don't you try and get it over with? If you want to disarm me, to get rid of this, it will take more than just a social Pepsi.
Yes, indeed. As to my business with you, we both know what that is. I am to see to it that you are dead by tomorrow morning. You shall be, Major. With a certain degree of modesty, I can tell you I have killed 800 times you, but I've done it with subtlety, with interest, with ingenuity, with finesse. I am the last of the imaginative executioners.
And how do you intend to kill me?
Let me tell you what, Major. Let's have a drink of Pepsi first, and I'll tell you. Bonsai. Flavor bouquet. Really, a most exceptional Pepsi. The proper amount of dryness. Join me, Major.
Very well, Commissar. I will drink your Pepsi. Then I may kill you.
Yes, you very well try. Now, Major, let me tell you something about us. Let me explain to you the difference between you and me. You, Major, are malcontent. You can never accept that which is ordained. Me, on the other hand, I adapt to my situations. I don't have a very large salary. And my job, at least the way it's laid out, is a rather dull one. Finding traitors and defectors and doing away with them. And in your case,
In my case,
I choose to prolong it. And in the process of this prolongation, I have come up with something I think is a most bizarre and novel method of execution. One designed to challenge your talents. We are both worthy adversaries, you and me.
I feel very weak. You monster! You drugged me.
First of all, to clear up one point, as it must be evident to you, I have been consuming this particular drug for many years, and have reached a point where I can drink it by the gallon and be quite unaffected. As you have probably perceived, I'm rather a gamesman when it comes to killing. I have my own rules and ethics that apply. And, Major Krutchenko, and listen to the following quite carefully. This is the game and these are the rules. You've been asleep for roughly 3 hours. During that time, I have placed a booby trap somewhere in this room. It is not visible, but it is attached to a very common object. If you trigger this object, you will immediately be blown up. Now the following proposition. If during the next 3 hours you're able to find this booby trap and cut the wire, you'll be permitted to leave the room alive. This is a guarantee. But the following conditions are of the essence major. You must actively search for this booby trap. You must find it and render it unusable. Attempt to turn off the lights and you'll be shot at once. The moment you stop an active search, you will be shot. Or if you are unable to find the trap at the end of the 3 hours, or attempt to leave the room during that time, I'm afraid the same conditions apply. You will receive a bullet in the head. And so there you have it, Major. As a fellow expert in the art of booby traps, this situation has its own special imaginative qualities.
Doorknob?
Interesting idea.
That Bible. Looks Looks like it's been pulled out.
Possible.
I think he's found it.
I doubt it.
The bookcase?
Wait and see.
You seem so sure
Sure.
that he'll find the trap.
Not at all. That's not what I'm sure about. What I mean to say is that I'm reasonably sure he'll find the trap, but he will find it when it's too late. Is he at the table?
He's stripping the bed. That's it. That's where you put it. The bed.
Warm, Todd. Very warm. But not hot.
Then please, tell me.
Where is he now? Well, what's he doing now?
He's moving towards the phone. I thought there for a minute.
He's thought what?
The telephone.
Hot, Todd. Extremely hot.
The telephone?
Precisely.
But he just picked up the receiver.
Yes, he picked up the receiver to call out. But on the other hand, if the Major's phone were to ring and he were to answer it...
That's it. That's it. If he picks it up after it rings.
Ah, now you've got it, my friend. If the Major picks up the phone after it rings, I place a tiny plastic bomb inside the mechanism. The explosion will only occur after the ringing and lifting of the receiver, at which point Major Kurchenkov won't even have time to say hello.
Mazzolo! Shoot me! Mazzolo! Shoot me, Mazzolo! Shoot me, Mazzolo!
Time, Todd?
10 minutes to 5. Almost dawn. How much longer, Commissaire?
He's got another 10 minutes. Well, I think it's, how shall we say, time to implement the thing. Hello, would you ring room 108, please? Thank you.
Now, Commissar?
No. Hello? Yes. Please ring room 108 again. Please.
Commissar, it would have been better, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's all right. We'll get him in the next city. Now that I'm aware that he's a most resourceful adversary. Tunnel! I'm sorry, sir. The line has been disconnected. I'm unable to reach the party.
That is all right, operator. I have reached them.
Attention. The P-5 ship Coast bus to Portsmouth will be departing in 5 minutes.
Major Ivan Kachenko, on his way west, on his way to freedom, a freedom bought and paid for by a most stunning ingenuity. And exit one Commissar Vasilov, who forgot that there are two sides to an argument and two parties on the line. This has been the Twilight Zone.
And now, Mr. Jack Gorman.
Next week, we take you into this 8x8 hotel room, and we watch you penny any crook make a decision. You better ask the room clerk the number of this room, and then come on up. Mr. David Linscar is a nervous man in a $4 room. That's the Twilight Zone. Next week, and we'll be waiting for you. Thank you. Good night.
And that was the Jeopardy room. And given the resources that we had at the time, which was, jack shit, I think it came out pretty well. And if you're interested in seeing our highly controversial third episode called The Encounter, well, you can check that out over on Eddie Spaghetti's channel. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description below. So until next time, folks, this is me to you, wishing you all the best, and reminding you to always keep it real. Bye-bye.